Well, Dakota, do you like that panel? Is that a pretty panel?
He's very impressed.
Why is this one harder than the first one?
Can't reach through and around and up and down. We know what we're doing.
And we know what we're doing.
I just tell everyone the second one is always harder. Everyone's like, oh, the second one's easier. You know what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Therefore, I do it all wrong because I should know what I'm doing. Well, YouTube, last night was an eventful night. When my wife and I were walking the dog, Dakota, last night, we noticed these, I guess, fingers coming off of this storm that was coming our way. I don't think I've seen anything like that in my life. That was the craziest cloud formation I've ever seen. So, I took a bunch of pictures, and then we started listening to the radio, of course, when we got back home, and did like any good Kansan did, and sat on the front porch and watched the storm roll in, right? So we were watching it roll in, and then we heard the train noise, and we do not live near train tracks. Yeah, so once we heard the train noise, we were like, all right, we got a beeline down to the basement. We all hid in the basement, and suddenly there was a major crash, and the whole house shook, and stuff fell off the walls, and the dog tried to get in my lap, which, having a 130-pound dog in your lap is not the most comfortable thing. After the storm settled down, I went out to see what the big noise was and discovered a tree branch had come down, hitting the corner of the porch and smashing the fence. I got off pretty lucky. Kind of a major thing. I know people actually lost their shops. A lot of people lost the roofs of their houses. Oh yeah, the cell phone tower blew down that serves this area, and so we don't have cell phone signal right now. Something that had helped deflect the branch a bit, at least I think it did, is right after we moved into this house, I put these bolts on each end of the header. The header was just poorly screwed into place. After hauling off all the branches and having the insurance adjuster look it all over, it was time for demolition. The porch had been built in 2 stages. Originally it just had this little awning thing over the door, and then it looks like they added on the rest of it at some point. We also needed to redo the concrete on this porch. It was really busted up, and I don't know much about concrete, so I hired that part done. Once the concrete was done, then it was time to come up with a really good plan for the porch. After looking at a bunch of porches and awnings and even gazebos, both online and in real life, my wife and I decided on a flyover roof design. I sat down on the computer and drew up a little model. We chose a flyover design for 3 reasons. One reason is it gives us more height. Our old porch was built onto the front of the house and sloped down. So when you were looking out the front window of the house, you really just saw the roof of the porch. We couldn't see the street. Kind of felt like we didn't know what was going on. And we honestly just didn't enjoy looking at the underside of the porch all the time. Another reason is heat. We figured with the flyover design, that'll allow air to flow up and out of there. The porch that we had really trapped the air in there. It would get very, very hot in the mornings on that side of the house. And the third reason is a flyover design is not attached to the house. So if another branch or storm or something destroys the porch, it won't damage the house. And now that we had a plan, that meant it was time to make long pieces and the little pieces. I did most of the work with the portaband. That way I didn't have to pick up these long beams again. And I could save my back a little bit. Then it was time to hop onto the CNC plasma table and cut out some feet for these columns. Now I'm going to cut out the caps for the column. I cut myself out an extra one of these feet, and I'm using that to figure out where the holes need to be for this. So hopefully I can get all the holes drilled before I set the columns up. I did try to design these feet big enough that if I need to set a column in place and then drill a hole, there should be clearance between the column and the hole for the drill. But I hope to drill them all this way. The next step is to set this railing in place. There's going to be some CNC artwork on this side of the porch. This is the north side of the porch, so we want a little bit of a windbreak. But this top rail on it needs to be the right height. Our old porch was too tall. When we'd sit down, we were looking right at that top rail and couldn't see out. It's very annoying. So I want to make sure I get this one low enough that we can see over it. I don't want to get much more done or not, man. That rain cloud is moving over us. Then it was time to make the headers. I cut these in the bandsaw because they were simply too big for the portaband. And I have to say, my back did not approve. And since all my metal has gotten rained on several times now, I had to spend a good amount of time wire wheeling the rust off. Luckily for you, I can do a jump cut. Next I went to the plasma table and cut out caps for the end of these headers. I have a clamp and a piece of angle iron up here on this corner because I'm going to set this big 2x6 beam we've just been cleaning and putting the caps in up on those posts. So I got that one clamped there, and then I'm going to go over to this other side and use my water level and figure out exactly where that side needs to be. Well, according to my water level, I am 1 inch off. This column is 1 inch too high. And I'm not 100% sure if I believe an inch. This concrete goes up pretty hard towards the door. We really want it to slope away. I think maybe you can see over here on this side. that it tapers down to this corner pretty good. We wanted the water to run away from the door. So we did slope it, but I didn't think we sloped it an inch. So we'll see. I'll put the beam up there and put a level on it, but alright, I climbed up there and clamped it on, and I've got to show you this level. That is about as close as I can get. Water levels work, people. That saved me a lot of time having these mounts on here in the area that I wanted it. Set it up there and bam. If you'll notice, the beam is set in front of the post instead of on top of it to allow the beam to be level without having to get the post the exact correct height. Next, it's time to put on the cross members. If only I had some kind of machine that could lift heavy things with a push of a lever. And this is the moment of truth for me. I want to make sure that this last cross member actually clears the roof of the house. And it looks like it does. Yay! It was a little bit of a stressor for me. It was kind of difficult to measure that and figure out where this roof needed to be and all these cross members and everything. So I was really worried that it would hit this ridge. Next, it's time to put on the furring strips. I simply tack welded the caps in these as it just needs to keep bugs out. It really was a gorgeous evening with amazing colors in the sky. So I'm going to let this footage run for a little bit too long maybe, just so you can sit, relax, and watch the world go by. So next is cleaning, painting. We'll let that cure for a few days, and then we can put the metal roof on. And once we get the metal roof on, then we can start with all the little ornate details and some gussets and braces and stuff to keep this thing from wiggling everywhere, because just being up on these 4 little spindly columns, it's a little shaky. No surprise. So, all right, next step. Like rolling over your head.
Well, it could be worse.
I don't know if it works.
I just said it could be worse.
Oh, I said whatever works.
That too. But if you're gonna roll over your head with something, at least it's just a paint roller.
This is how you paint, standing up here on the trailer. I'm looking down on it so the sun's not in my eyes, and standing on something sturdy. Cover the ground from up here. Nice. Sure is making a huge difference on shade in the mornings. That is really nice in this summer heat. And now, cutting out the panels with the CNC plasma table. These panels will be the guardrail on the end of the porch, and a little bit of a windbreak. And of course, decoration. This way, bottom?
Yeah. This is going to be the edge against the house.
Alright.
So when we do the part that goes up, this tree will keep going up.
Okay. That weighs more than you think it would. Should we go make sure it fits before we cut out the next one? Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. It fits. Got the chair in the way. Maybe I'll just do a voiceover on this section.
Ooh, a voiceover.
Neighbor running this stupid song.
I bet they say that about you all the time.
Right?
Well, hold on. Yeah, that's right. Straight up. Straight up and in.
You got taller. I would get so much taller.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce.
Don't Bruce me down. This is why we're doing our palm day.
How about it, Bruce?
It's pretty good, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Ooh.
It's pretty good, Bruce.
Pretty good, Bruce.
Don't Bruce me down.
Now you're doing it.
Bruce! And now the panels are painted too. Got a lot more to do to this porch. But the basic frame and the roof is there. Something else we got to do is build a railing for the steps here so you have something to hold on to. We're going to build some beautiful gussets that are CNC plasma cut that go up in these corners. Just real decorative things. Let's see what else we got to do. Oh, yeah, so this tree looking thing here, there's actually going to be more CNC art that goes all the way up that post and up that corner and actually comes back down a little bit. Kind of looks like there's going to be a tree growing there. And we want to put some lighting up in here so we can see what we're doing at night. And the biggest thing we've got to deal with, of course, it's not really part of the porch, but just part of the house, is we got to figure out how to repair all this damage, this fake brick stuff. This is just like some half bricks that are sort of kind of stuck to the front of the house. So we got to figure out what we're doing with all this. I think we're just tear this brick off and put some regular siding on or something. Point being is we have a lot more to do, and so eventually there will be another video on this porch, but I don't know when because it's a spare time project and I have very little spare time. So it might be a long time before you see more about all the little details on this porch. So who knows? I really hope you enjoyed this video. So we'll see y'all in the next one.